Okay, so this video is on how to get rusted bolts out. This is a barbecue, so these bolts have been exposed to extremely high temperatures. This one here, the head got broken off of, so I'm going to have to get it from the back. And a lot of times you're going to have to back them out. I hit it with some PB Blaster. You know, stuff works pretty good. You know, there's a lot of different things on the market. PB Blaster is just what I use. You got to let it penetrate for about a half hour, 45 minutes, you know, once you squirted it. Just let it soak in there. It should get into the grooves, hopefully. You know, sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. This one here is a real simple one, so I'm just going to remove it from the back side. Just grab a pair of vice grips. I mean, obviously I'm not going to use this piece of hardware again. I'm going to put all new hardware in here, so I don't worry about hurting the hardware. And just got to get a good grip on it. The head's broken off of it, so it's going to come out from the backside. Whoops. Well, anyway, I had already twisted it out, but anyway, you got to twist it, and it's going to come out. No head on there again. So there's that one. Now the next one here is a little bit more stubborn. It's still attached, and it's still holding the part that it had in it in place. So that guy right there, where is it? There it is. Okay. This one here is holding this in. Now, I could get it from the back, but I already broke the back part of that nut off, so or that bolt off. So what I have to do is I'm going to try to get it from the front. This is sheet metal, so it's pretty simple. If you're talking about stuff that's screwed into an engine block and stuff like that, or a solid piece of metal, it gets a little bit more complicated. If you break the head off the bolt, which sometimes happens, what you'll end up having to do is you'll have to end up basically chiseling it away. So you got to take a screwdriver, okay, and hold it onto the head of the nut, and then just try to get a good bite in there, and then just persuade it like this. Let me just hold it like this. And sometimes you can get a bite, sometimes you won't. This one here, I'm going to probably end up having to break off, and then hopefully I'm not going to have to get a screwdriver a drill in there and start drilling through it, because when it breaks off, you got to drill through it, with an easy out or whatever self-centering drill bit, and that gets a little bit more complicated. It drills it in reverse. There's a lot of different methods here. Again, this hardware is rusted solid in here. This metal's been soaking for a while with that PB Blaster, so just trying to get a good bite. See if I can get it to just start moving. Once it starts moving, it's already broken free, and then the rest of it comes out fairly easily. Good bite on the metal. Try to make an indentation first so that it has some place to grab when I start knocking it to the side. This one's going to be real stubborn. That's a round-headed bolt, so it's a very, very stubborn bolt to deal with. If it was flat-headed, it'd be a little bit simpler. Just trying to knock it through. Why is it not focusing there? Okay. There we go. Okay. Let's see if I can get this to. I might have even chiseled enough off to where I can get it with vice grips. So let me see here. This side's pretty much flat. The other side's not, though, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get vice grips on there. but you kind of get the idea. I mean, you gotta keep at it because it can get pretty stubborn, these things. I mean, if I absolutely have to, what I'll end up doing is I'll end up going underneath here, as long as I don't have to worry about damaging the sheet metal, because this is an inner sheet metal part, so it's not surface sheet metal, so it doesn't matter if I put a little bit of a dent in there. If I have to, I'll end up going underneath this piece here to try to break the head off the bolt, and then I'm going to try to probably just drill through the bolt, you know, with a small drill and then a bigger drill and a bigger drill until it gets to the size that I need, which is just I think it's like 3/16 or something like that. And then I'll bore it out, retap it, you know, and there's no tapping involved because this is 18 gauge sheet metal, so basically it's just going to self tap once I put the metal in there. I mean the bolt, the new bolt shank in there. And it is a bolt, it's not a screw, so you kind of get the idea, you know. It's just kind of one of those things that happens when you're dealing with rusty stuff like this. It's been exposed to a lot of heat. I mean, you know, heat and cold cycling, years and years and years, you know, going to cause the hardware to melt, to go away. The stainless is marine grade stainless, so it doesn't get corroded. All it does is just get soot put on it and various, you know, drippings from the barbecue activity that happens. But as you can see, you know, you get all that metal nice and shiny just by regraining it. All right, well, thanks for watching. Okay, so I gave it a shot. I even grabbed the back side of this thing, grabbing the front side like I showed there a few minutes ago, you know, with the chisel, and it's just not backing out. So since the back side broke down to this point, I'm going to end up just drilling through it. So sometimes you can just drill through the middle of the bolt, depending on how big it is, you know, and then the rest of it will collapse in and it'll go through. I'm lucky to be able to get to the back side of this, otherwise I'd have to go through a whole rigmarole of, you know, drilling it out, then easing outing it, and then, you know, reverse drilling it to grab the remnant of the bolt and pull it out of whatever it is. Sometimes when you do that, you know, you might end up having to rethread the hole, you know, the block or whatever it is, whatever it's stuck into. In this case, again, sheet metal, so don't have to worry about that. So basically, you know, just got to go right down the middle of the bolt very carefully from the back side. And this might be easier said than done here. Just going to try to hold it in place while it's going. I might have to go through the head of it, possibly. Yeah, probably going to end up having to do that, because it's just not. This bolt is so small that it's going to be tough going through that part of it. So I'm going to have to go through the head of the bolt. Since it's a Phillips head, there is a little bit of a you know, where the cross is on the Phillips head. I'm going to end up going through that part. I mean, it's really rusted over and it's got a lot of deposits on it, but I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get through it this way. So yeah, let me just try to chisel some of that away so I can get a good slot in there. Yeah, this thing is really rusted. Well, it's not really well defined anymore, so, you know, I don't know if I'm going to get this through there. I mean, eventually I will get it out. It's going to take some fudging, that's for sure. That seems to be a pretty good little divot right there, so hopefully I can get it pushed through. And like I said, I might end up having to break the the head of the, there it goes. Now these bolts in a lot of cases, they're case hardened, so the outside is hard and the inside is soft. And depending on what the grade is, if it's a grade 8, it's likely pretty hard all the way through, you know, automotive style bolt. Into the center of it. Still pretty hard by my judgment. This is likely a grade 6 since it's exposed to heat. I drill it slowly so that the head of the drill can get a good bite into the metal. Still really haven't made any progress. So that is a fairly hard bolt. The nitride drill here that I'm using, I know that it's harder than the metal because it's drilling through. If it wasn't, it would just be wearing down the drill. And it might be a good idea to put some lubricant on there too, just so that the head of the drill doesn't get overheated, because that's the thing that tends to unsharpen a drill bit. Otherwise I'm going to have to put it on the stone and resharpen the drill bit. It is making progress, believe it or not. Slowly but surely. And it does appear that that's the center of the drill, of the screw. It's getting down in there. A little bit more lube. I can feel the head of the drill. It's not really getting super hot, so that's a good thing. Try to get it just the right speed. Okay, so finally, after trying to drill it through to no avail. I ended up flattening the other side of the bolt head because it was a round-headed bolt, so it was really hard to grab with a pair of vice grip. I was able to put a pair of vice grips on there now so that there's two flat sides. That should give me enough leverage. Like I said, it's only sheet metal here, so I don't really need a whole lot of leverage to be able to unscrew it. And I even tried twisting this a little bit, you know, to try to get the bases to screw, but it wasn't affecting the screw. It was only allowing this to twist. This part's broken. I'm not worried about ruining it because I'm fabricating a new one. So basically, you know, this thing's on here. I'm just going to go ahead and carefully make sure I can turn this thing so that I can get the head of the bolt loose. And there we go. Okay, cool. Now it's turning. So once it's done its initial turn, I should be able to back that bolt out. I'm going to grab I'll just try grabbing a pair of vice grips, a pair of channel locks here and getting the rest of the way out. There it goes. So it's kind of like a round-headed bolt with two flat sides at this point. It's just going to fight me the whole way. Remember that the other side is broken off, so there's not much thread to get through. And as you can see, it's flat on this side and flat on that side. I mean, it's a destructive technique, but it's something that you use if you're not going to be able to use the hardware and the next time around, you know. And usually when it gets to that point, you're not going to use it anyway. It's so rusted. Jeez Louise. Let's try maybe this angle. There it is. Okay, so that's the bolt right there that I broke the bottom part off of. So it's off. All the hardware is removed from this unit now. That was the last stubborn piece. So hope you learned something at my expense. Thanks for watching.